Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This one could have actually been done as a viewer request video because it came from a question posed to me from Quinn Mallory. He was wondering if you can use an air-driven system to separate out the fry from a live bearer, like a guppy, and put them in another container so that you can easily remove them and obviously keep them away from her having lunch. And I thought it was kind of interesting. It's nothing I'd ever made before, so I thought I would do this as a regular Friday video. So this is going to be my attempt. I've never made one of these before. Actually, it does work on obviously some similar principles to a lot of other builds, but there's some unique qualities to it. So what I'm doing here right now is I've taken a piece of 1/4 inch. I probably should have done this out of something thinner, but I ran out of 1/8. So this is all going to be done in 1/4. And what I'm doing is I'm putting a grid pattern. This is going to be the grating that's going to be at the bottom of the main, we'll call it a breeder box, and it is going to allow the fry to obviously pass through. And the hole beside it, the 1-inch hole there, is going to be the standard 1-inch hole I use for an airlift system. And I'm going to put a piece of tubular acrylic in there, and what we're going to do is run some air through it, and that should draw water through the grating and hopefully lots of little fry. So I'm going to peel this off. I didn't quite get the grating perfect. There's a couple I miscounted on, but I was going to remake this thing. It didn't take that long, but it was one of those things that I'm just being too picky about. Now obviously you can't put this right on the bottom of a breeder box because you need a channel. So I took a couple pieces of offcut. This is just scrap stuff that I had, and I'm going to glue it on, so I'm going to restrict where the water can come from. So those two there are the important ones. That means that the water can only come down through the holes and go up through the pipe. And the other one here is just so that it all balances out nice and even. So this is actually really quite straightforward. The hard parts I had when I was thinking about doing this is how much flow do you need? I mean, that's the tricky bit, right? I mean, there you go, you see the gap underneath. If you have too much flow, obviously you're going to suck the fry up nicely, but you're going to give mom a rather substantial workout. So I mean, I was thinking about this the entire time I was doing this. So this just fits in the bottom like that. I obviously didn't show you making the box because again, it's just a box, and it has a bracket on it to sit inside the aquarium. The neat thing about it, of course, is it doesn't have to be watertight because it will be inside the tank. So here is going to be the box where the fry are going to be separated to. The easiest way of making the holes match up is just to do what I'm doing here, is just line them up together, flip it over, and then just use a pen to mark where the hole is going to go. I could have done this any number of ways, but this is the quick and easy way of doing it. So I'm going to drill that hole out, and then we're going to assemble the pieces that are going to make the inside box. This is actually not a hard glue up, but it's something actually a little bit different, because normally what I do is, obviously I cut all the pieces at the same time so they all fit right, but normally I try and have as few inside angles as possible. That way, if there's a slight movement when you're cutting it, you don't have to worry about having leaks and stuff like that. Because this is going to be inside, it wasn't too big a deal, so I wasn't too worried about it. So if you're going to build an aquarium like this, don't. But as an inside box for separating fry, this is perfectly fine. You see, what happens is these two vertical pieces are going to set the distance, and they're going to sit on the bottom of the inside on that tray of the breeder box, and that is going to set up where the fry are going to go to. And the other couple critical things were I couldn't make this friction fit, obviously, because it would be too hard to get apart. I want to make it simple enough that I can put mom in, wait for her to have her fry, and then pull this unit out quite easily. Like, it has to come out simply, but obviously the pipe itself can't come out, because then all the fry would just pour right back in where mom is. So these are just kind of the things that are going through my head as I was putting this together. And obviously I need a place where the water is going to go back into where mom is, and that's what those two holes are for. So now what I need to do is two things. First, I have to build a pipe that's going to fit those criteria I just mentioned, and then I need to come up with a way of making a screen that's not going to be as ugly as the ones I made last time when I was doing the carbon thing. It bothered me. So this was actually quite easy. I just machined down a little bit of a 1/4 inch there, so it has a nice loose fit, but enough of a fit that like fry aren't going to slip through or anything. And then I made a very rough turning for the top part, so that it will go through without too much effort, but it won't slide back and forth easily. So that solves that problem quite nicely. And then I came up with something slightly different for these two holes. What I did is I took 2 pieces of 1 inch that fits in those holes, obviously, and then I turned them down sufficiently that it will allow a kind of a friction fit with window screening. So all I'm going to do is just jam that in there so that it fits snugly, and then just trim it off. It actually works really well, and the nice thing about it is, first off, the fry won't fit through, but also if end up with a tear in it or the screen gets dirty or whatever, it's just easy to pull those out and snap in a couple of new pieces of screening. And I actually really like the look of it. Well, not not right now, but I like it when after I trim off the there you go. I like it now after you trim off the excess screen. It actually is very easy to do. I didn't bother showing it because I'm trying to keep these videos to 10 minutes and not make them too long. There you go, it's all assembled. That's how it fits in. It's nice and easy. The grating should quite easily allow fry through. And then I just have to put an airline tubing in this and fire it up. So I'm going to stick this in the tank. And then we come back to my original problem. The problem is how much air. I mean, obviously, if I can create enough flow, there's no way a newborn fry is going to be able to resist it. But I'm not trying to traumatize them or damage them or any sort of that sort of thing. So what I did initially is I just stuck an airline tubing in here. I had run out of rigid tubing, so I just put in a loose tube like this and put a little cap on the top of it. And this really created an awful lot of flow. I mean, I'm going to go to a bit of a close-up here shortly. It is actually moving really quite fast in there, and I was watching her for the first 10 or 15 minutes that I left it this way, and I realized I'm just going to exhaust this poor fish. Also, I left a little bit of acrylic dust in there so you can see how the current flows, and like I said, she's getting quite the workout. So I'm going to switch over to another one in a few minutes here. Also, I'm going to show you a bit of footage from my phone because actually I think I'm just getting to like the look of it, but this I'm pretty sure would allow the fry to separate. I mean, this is creating enough current that there's no way a newborn fry is going to be resisting it. But watch the current coming out of here. This is just too much. I was concerned about her, so even with a little bit of Java moss that I put in there later on, it still was too much. And I said if I work her out too much, may end up even killing the mom, and that's definitely not something I want to do. So I'm going to show you a couple more clips here. This is from the phone, obviously, nice and clear, and again still way too fast, even with the moss in there to slow it down. If you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you think of this. The other sad thing is my luck with getting film footage of mom having birth from a guppy is holding, and that is, it's all bad luck. She didn't give birth, so I'm going to have to do another update on this later on when she does finally give birth, hopefully in a short period of time, because I don't want to leave her here too long. And what I decided to switch over to was an air stone on this. There's still enough flow, I think, for there to be separation. It's obviously not nearly as strong as the other way. I'm going to see how it works. And those shrimp are fine. They just decided to swim in there and have a rest. They're not squished or anything. And I'll let you know how this turns out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, and bye for now. Hopefully by that time she'll have given birth.